And we're recording. Hi everybody, this is Lolly. Welcome to Helmar Live. My name is Lolly. I think I already said that though. I'm like kind of frazzled because I had to work late tonight and I'm running a little bit behind. But here I am and I'm all prepped up and ready to go. So what we're going to be making tonight is a little swag, and this is made with you can kind of see in the back, it's made from like a little twig swag, and I got this at Hobby Lobby, and I think it was maybe like $2 for the little twiggy part, and I needed something for my kitchen to kind of go in the center, and of course I wanted it to be teal, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a close-up there so you guys can see it a little bit better and see some of the details that I have in there. So we're going to be making all of these flowers tonight. How big is it? Let's see. It is, it is basically 21 inches long by roughly 5 inches. Roughly 5 inches at its widest point. So it's not gigantic, it's just a little guy. So yep, those are wood centers, and I'm going to talk about those in a second. So let's go ahead and get started. And the sound and everything still sounds good? Awesome. So I only had one of these little swags, so I kind of cheated and I attached this one with some elastic. And I could have put it on with a button, but I just decided I was just going to use like a little piece of elastic. So in order to get it off, I'm going to have to cut it. So really, if I do it with a button, I'm actually going to be able to take this off and then change it up if I want to change it for the seasons and do like maybe a holiday themed one. Hold on, let me make sure we're good with that. Maybe something for the holidays, or just kind of change it up a little bit as the seasons pass. So I'm going to show you guys how we can do that too. But like I said, I was kind of in a hurry when I did this, so I just put this on with some glue. But I would definitely say maybe to put this on with a little button. I think that would be a little bit better. And then you can kind of attach it and reattach it. And then just change out the little, you can make like a little cover, and you can put Home Sweet Home. You can do all kinds of stuff with these. I really love these. But I just had the one. I buy tons and tons of stuff like this just to try to alter it and see what I can do with it, and not thinking, hey, I'm going to do a live show, so I need 2 of them. So that's just me though. So I'm going to move this little guy to the side, and then I'm going to move him to the side. And you can see that we've got quite a few different materials and fabrics and all kinds of stuff going on there. So I am going to start first with the fabric. So we're going to be using Helmar's fabric stiffener and draping liquid tonight. And if you haven't seen this stuff before, it's really, really fabulous. I actually just got introduced to it probably within the past couple of weeks. And I've seen some different projects with it. I saw Jing Jing Nickel do a project with it. And I was like, oh my gosh, as soon as I saw her project, I knew I had to try it and get my hands on it and start playing around with it. So I'm going to do something a little bit different than what Jing Jing does, in that I'm actually going to paint it on. And I have my non-stick surface here. This is just one of those craft mats. And let's get back in focus. And let's see. All right, I need to be able to see the chat so I can see what you guys are saying. So what I do is, Jing Jing took it, and per the directions on the bottle, she actually put it into a bowl and kind of slathered it around in the bowl, and then she smushed out all the excess with her fingers. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to pour a little bit on to my fabric. And this is just a regular old piece of fabric, and you can see it's nice and soft, and it's not crunchy, and just regular fabric. It doesn't matter which side you put it on. Yeah, who follows direction? Yeah, sorry, not following the Helmar directions. I'm just going and just putting the stuff on however I want. So, ta-da! I decided to spell my favorite name, Lolly, with my fabric stiffener. And then I am just simply going to paint it on. And I put it pretty generously. I just basically kind of slather it on there. It's still pretty thick. And then I just use a regular old dry paintbrush. And you just kind of smush it on there really, really good. Real good, as we say in Texas. There we go. So I'm just going to smush it on. I'm only going to put it on one side and just get it all to my corners and everything. And then you can see that's that. Now you can put this, if you don't have a nonstick craft mat, you can put it on wax paper like Jing Jing did. Or I kind of let it dry a little bit, and then over the weekend I stuck it on my deck and I just let it dry out there, and it did awesome. It dried in the sunshine like lickety split. So let me get the excess off of here. There we go. So I'm just going to put that lid back on. You have used a heat gun before, but use caution. I was afraid to try the heat gun because you know how sometimes things get a little wacky with that. So here, I just had to get my towel out. So I'm just going to set this aside. I'm going to make sure that you put your paintbrush into some water because you don't want that drying on there, or you'll never, I don't know, I think it turns your paintbrush into something super hard. So I'm just setting that aside. And then like magic, ta-da! See this? This is my fabric, and it's super, super stiff, and it's still kind of pliable. You can still kind of bend it, but this is totally dried. It's only been done on one side, and like I said, it's just real, it still moves and everything, but it kind of holds its shape. And I really want to do some draping stuff with it, like put it over molds and put it over paper mache and do some fun gathering. I think this stuff is going to be so much fun to work with. So this is my piece. So then what I did, again, like magic, and we're going to be doing that a lot tonight, is I actually ran that fabric through a dye, and this is the Tim Holtz Sizzix Tattered Florals dye. So you guys can see that. There you go. So Tattered Florals, and then it makes all these different flower shapes when you run it through your die cut machine, and I use a Sizzix die cut machine. So once you've done that, hey Jess, hey Becky, hey everybody, I see all kinds of fun people joining. Once you do that, then you're going to have all of these awesome fabric stiffened flowers. So I've got a couple of different ones here, and what I'm going to do is I want to use these two pieces right here, and then I'm going to use these two right here, some of these big ones, and I'm going to use these little fellas right here. I'm basically going to make 3 different ones. So these are going to go onto the side. And I'm going to use my scissors. Oh yeah, I got to meet Jess this weekend. She came to a crop at the Little Blue House. It was awesome. Okay, so I'm going to cut out one of those petals like that. So if you guys can see that pretty good. I just cut the one petal out. And then I am going to take some of my Helmar 450 glue, and I'm going to put some on one of those petals. And then I am going to take it and I'm going to fold it like that. Okay? So then you're going to have like this little cup, this little cuppy thing with 4 petals. Okay? Ooh, yeah, I hope I get to see you too, Emily, at Inspired. It's just in a few weeks. So now I've got that little cuppy guy, and I'm going to go ahead and make another one. So I'm going to cut out another one of those petals into a little point. Again. So I do that, and then I am going to just poke it together so that it makes like a little cuppy funnel. And then I'm going to set that aside. Okay, so now I've got 2 of those, and I am going to do the same thing with all of them. I'm just going to cut out one of the petals and then cup them, because I want a flower that's a little bit more 3-dimensional, and I'm sure you guys have seen that before. And in case you didn't know, I don't know if this works for everybody, but I like to store my 450 glue on its side because I find that it kind of keeps it from bubbling out on me. So I don't know if you guys do that or not, but I always keep it on its side. You probably do. Probably everybody does that. There we go. So now I'm going to do a little bit more, one more. We just have to go through and do all these just to get them so that they're cupped up and have a little bit more dimension to them. Yep, you can take workshop classes at Inspired without actually having signed up for Inspired, so it's kind of cool. And I know that quite a few of my buddies are going to be teaching those workshops. I'm kind of excited. Lots of people that I don't get to see very often and that I've only met a couple of times, or not, some of them I've never met at all. Tracy and I have actually gotten to meet twice at 2 different CHA events. So I get to hang out with Tracy for a whole week. It's going to be awesome. So I'm just going to do that one to 3, and then I'm going to leave this one whole. So this other little dude, I'm just going to leave him kind of whole so you guys can see that okay. Okay? So those are basically dry, and they're sticking to my fingers. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I am going, kind of the thing I like about the fabric stiffener is that it makes the fabric so that it's pliable and then it holds its shape, so that it's not just flippy floppy fabric. It actually, you can actually kind of curl it and bend it and almost in a way treat it like paper. So I am going to roll the leaves down on both of these little flowers here, and then I am going to simply glue the two of them together so that their petals are a little bit offset, so it makes a little bit of a fuller flower. So I'm just going to drop some 450 down into the center and smush that down in there and set that aside to dry. So now we have kind of a real pretty little cupped flower, as you can see. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the other ones. Just kind of offset them just a little bit so that the petals make a little bit more of a fuller looking flower, and then kind of bend everybody up like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this guy. I'm just going to put that guy right into the center. There we go. Let's see. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do this one too, because I'm looking at it and I'm thinking I probably need to do this one too. So see how awesome and fast this glue dries? Like, I'm pretty much, as soon as I've made it, I'm ready to pretty much work with it. All right, and does anybody have any questions for me while we're sitting here just, this is kind of like mindless, just crafting. There we go. So I've got those done. I'm going to bend my flowers down and put a little dollop in the center, poke that in there, make sure that they're a little bit offset, and then I have another one. So something I'm going to do a little bit different with this flower is I'm actually going to take a little piece of jute twine, and I have some here. This is 3-ply jute twine. And I'm actually going to take just a little piece and I'm going to curl it up into the center, because I wanted, our kitchen is kind of a little bit rustic, and I didn't want anything like, I wanted lots of handmade, you know, like burlap and jute and that kind of thing, because I just love that, those kind of textures and elements. So I am just going to curl that into the center. I've just put a dollop of glue down there, and then there we go. And I'll cut the little tail off. And I think I need a little bitty more dollop right there. There we go. And I'm just going to hold that for a second. Yeah, I get my jute at Walmart. I get 4-ply, 6-ply, 3-ply, single. I buy all of it. I buy jute by the, see, this is the 4-ply. I mean, I use this stuff constantly. It's actually a main component in my Inspired project. Okay. So I've got that little dude, he's ready to go. And then I have these little fellas, and what I'm going to do, I've got that point right there. I'm actually just going to kind of take that point and press that down just a little bit, and it kind of makes like a little triangle in the center. I just want to press those down. And then my husband cut me a ton of tree branch slices, tons and tons of them. Can you guys see them? Tons and tons of awesome tree branch slices. So I have a whole nother bag full of these. I just grabbed a handful so that I could have them for the class and have some fun stuff to play with. So what I'm going to do for the center of these flowers is I'm actually just going to place a little tree branch slice inside there. And I'm just going to glue it down with some of my 450. I'm going to put a nice big generous glop in there. And then I'm just going to press them down in there. And then, like I said, we've just got all kinds of, like, a little bit more rustic elements in our kitchen. So I wanted there to be some wood stuff in there and all that. So that's all those are, is just little slices of wood. And then I'm going to do another one here. Just got to pick through till you find the ones you like. These things are funny. They have, like, sometimes they have little stumps on them. Look how cute that one is. It reminds me of like a little tiny tree stump. I just love these silly things. So I'm going to do another dollop. And let's see, I want kind of a little bit of a, that one's good. So I'm just going to put these guys aside to dry. I kind of pressed it on there. And I'm just going to put them over to the side so they can start drying, because there's quite a bit of glue in the center. And the next thing we're going to do, now that we've got 3 of our fabric flowers made, we are going to work on the burlap flowers. So the burlap is, this is just some natural colored burlap, and I cut it into strips. And this strip is, I put my measuring guy on the floor. So he is basically 1.5 inches. Let me see how long he is. By roughly 19.5 inches. So he's just a little old strip of burlap. And what I'm going to do is I've taken a piece of cardboard or a chipboard and I've cut it into a little circle, and I used a die cut machine to do that. That's why it's so perfect, and it's a nice thick piece of chipboard. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that burlap and I'm going to put some glue down the center and fold it in half. And just kind of pinch it. And I know you guys have seen these a bazillion, trillion, million, zillion times. Okay. Oh wow, your hubby works for a coffee maker, so the burlap bags you get smell like coffee. That's awesome, Timmy. I'm kind of jealous because I love those burlap bags from the coffee makers. They're awesome. So I'm just going to put a dollop of glue down in the center of that circle, and then I'm just going to start rolling it. And I found that I kind of have to hold this, and I put like 1/2 of a circle of glue down, and then I roll it and press. And then I'm kind of like squishing these 2 little sides together as I'm doing it. And you can use a thinner piece if you want. So you just kind of keep rolling, and you do have to hold it down. Let's see. There we go. So I do like 1/2 a circle of glue, and then you kind of twist and fold and press. And just keep going. And let's see, my little circle, I'm not sure how big this little circle is. I'll have to measure him. So just keep doing that until you cover all of the sides of the cardboard. And these go really fast. If you like really get on a roll, you can really make them. And see, mine are always off-centered. I'm never ever centered right. It's a personal problem that I have. And if the burlap gets a little bit stringy on you, all you have to do is give it a little haircut. Just take it to the barber shop and give that guy a trim, and he'll be just fine. So Mrs. Fence, this is new to you. I love these flowers. I put them on bags and hair stuff, and so you just keep going. I'm actually kind of going outside a little on one side. There's no, just keep trucking. So I'm just going to let this one be a little bit of a smooth edge. So now I have this flower made out of burlap, and he definitely needs a haircut, but I'm going to let him sit for a second and set. And then I'm going to put some glue in the center and glue along the back, because I want everything to hold down really nicely for me. There we go. So I'm just going to kind of wrap all that around and smush. Okay, and of course I'm sticking it to my table, but that's okay. So now while I'm smushing and holding, I'm going to give him his haircut. He just needs a little trim. Sometimes he needs more of a trim than other times. It just depends on how you do the burlap. Okay. Let's see. Just getting that last little bit pressed down there. Okay, so I think he's pretty much set up. So I'm going to put him off to the side so you can see him again. Okay, and he does need, hold on, a little bit more of a trim. There we go. So he's done. So now we have another flower done. So the next flower we're going to make are actually going to be some metal flowers. And these flowers, I made using some craft, I believe it's called craft metal, but I'm not 100% sure. But this metal comes from 10 Second Studios, and it's a little bit thicker than aluminum foil, and it comes in all kinds of awesome colors. So what you do is you take your 450 and I'm just doing this one kind of as an example to you guys. I want to make this metal so that it's pretty bendy and pliable, but I want to give it a little bit more thickness and a little bit more hold so that it can hold the shapes that I'm going to put it in. So what I'm going to do is I'm gluing it to a piece of chipboard. So what you do is you just put your glue down, and again I'm using my 450 glue because it dries nice and fast. Put it down on your surface. So we're going to be doing some with chipboard, and then we're going to be doing some with felt here in just a second. So the reason that you do that is if you rub the 450 onto the metal, it'll leave marks in the metal. And not that it matters because we're going to be running it through a die cut machine, but if you weren't going to be doing that and you cut these out by hand, because you can certainly do that, you don't want all those marks on your metal. You want to leave that metal nice and solid. Okay? So let's see. So I've got that down. So now that you've got this, you want to let this dry really, really well. Because if you run it through the die cut machine while it's still wet, your glue is going to squish out and get into your die. And if you run it through your embossing machine, which I'm going to show you in a second, your glue is going to squish out and then get onto your embossing folders. Now I do want to tell you that if that happens, that's totally okay. Because basically what that means, you'll just let it dry, and then it's kind of like a sunburn. You're going to be able, and it's kind of creepy, but you'll be able to peel it off once it dries. So if it gets onto your stuff, don't worry, you're just going to be able to peel it right off and it'll be fine. So the next thing that you're going to do is that using that same Tattered Florals die from Sizzix, you're going to run this piece through your die cut machine. So now you've got a piece of cardboard that's got the metal applied to it. And the neat thing about this is that you can actually shape and bend this piece now that you've got the cardboard backing, and it's not too flimsy. So it really gives it a lot of really nice ability to shape it and hold the shape and not be so flimsy that you have to worry about something happening to it. So you can really go through and do some really nice things with this stuff. The thing that I like to do, and I actually learned this from the owner of my scrapbook store, her name is Tracy Pounds, is that I also then like to take that same thing and I like to run it through an embossing folder. So it looks pretty cool. Right now, you know, you've got this really cool piece of embossed metal and you've got it on the back of your chipboard shape. But what you can do to kind of take it over the top and make it even cooler is you can take that, and I'm using, this is actually a sander, and it doesn't look like a sander, but it's like a little sander that I got at the Home Depot. And you can take that and you can just rub the top of it, and it removes the color from the metal and it leaves the shiny metal underneath. So then that gives it even more dimension. Okay, so just keep doing that. And then we took that plain old piece of metal that was, you know, still kind of pretty and plain, and we embossed it, and then we took it even one step further by rubbing through so that you can see the blue, like this is called peacock, this color, is underneath, and then the pretty shiny silver is on top. And I'm just probably over sanding, but now I'm going to show you so you can see that took it even further. Hold on, I'll stop wiggling around here in a second so you guys can see it. So you can see how it gave it even more dimension. Okay, so that's that fella. And then what I did, I simply took him again, I bent up all of his leaves so that he had some nice flowery leaves. So I'm just doing that to all of them. And then I'm going to show you the next little step that we're going to do to make a center for him. Because I could have put wood, another little wood sliver in there, a little wood slice. But I decided that I wanted to do more elements with burlap. So what I did was I made these discs. And they're just simply jute. I just took jute twine and I glued it to the little discs, these little chipboard discs. So we're going to make one of those really quick. I'm using natural jute twine. This is a 3-ply twine. And you're going to do the same kind of thing that we did just a second ago. Hold on. Let me get my glue cleaned up a little bit. And I'm getting sticky glue hands, but that's okay because it just goes right off. So you're going to put a little dollop in the center, and you're going to take your jute twine and press it down. And then jute twine has kind of like a natural twirl to it. Even like the more ply that you have, the more thicknesses of twine that it has. So this little 3-ply has 3 little twines in the, or 3 little layers of twine in there. So it's wiggling all around on me. You're doing the exact same thing that we just did to make those other curly flowers. You just take it, twist it, and press, and you just keep going. So work in half segments with your glue, and then it's kind of easier if you lay it on top of the glue instead of trying to squish it up next to the glue. It seems to go a little bit better, and you get less residue on the top. So just keep doing that. Let me get more jute out. There we go. So my hands are really, really sticky with glue, so I'm kind of having some trouble. But it's okay. It seems like it's going all right. So just twist it and lay it into it like that. Yeah, my hands are, I think my hands are a little bit too sticky. Hold on. I'm gonna use some of my Remove cleaner, and I don't know if you're supposed to do this or not, Tracy, but I do it all the time, and I spray it on my hands. I don't know if you're supposed to do that, but it's done. There we go, and that gets a lot of that glue off my hands. That is a Helmar product that I love, and I keep it in my craft room, and my husband steals it from me all the time. So just keep kind of going along and getting your circles done. So I'll just keep doing this because I'm going to use this one in my project. There we go. So this Helmar Remove is awesome because if you get, you know how you peel stickers off of your, windows or wherever that comes on different products, get stickers stuck on them all the time. You can just spray that Remove on there, just wait a second, and then just wipe it up with a paper towel. It's like, it's a miracle. And it smells awesome. It smells like oranges. So I really love it. Okay, so there we go. I am basically done. I'm just going to cut that guy and kind of tuck him off into the back a little bit. So now I have another little circle of jute twine rolled up. So now I've got a couple of these. I'm going to set those to the side. Actually, I'm going to take this little fella that I had made earlier, and I'm going to make him the center of that flower, like that. Okay, so I'm just going to use my 450 again, put a nice big dollop in there, and press him down, and set him off to the side. All right, so those guys are done. So the next guys that we're going to make are going to be made using metal and felt, and it's kind of the same premise. You take your piece of metal, and I don't have my felt over here. It's on the other table, so I'm not going to get up and get it. But you take your piece of metal and you glue a strip of felt to it. So I'm going to show you this. This is some metal, and this again is 10-second studio metal. And then it's got the felt on the back side of it. And you glue it together using 450 glue. You let it dry pretty good, probably for about 15 or 20 minutes. And then you're going to run it through your die cut machine. So I'm running it through using a die called Leaves Plain. So this is Leaves Plain right here. I want you guys to see it. It takes, there you go. Whoops. Okay, so this die has all of these little leafy shapes on it, like that. And then once you've done that, you will end up with a lot of leaves that are felt on one side and metal on the other side. So the nifty thing about these, just like what we had going on with the chipboard, is that now you have bendable felt leaves, which I think is just totally, completely awesome. Now, if you can't find this 10-second studio, or if it's a little bit out of your price range, because I'll admit this is not cheap metal to be doing this with, another option that you can do is you can actually glue this felt to heavy-duty aluminum foil. So that's what I did, is I just took, and it's not going to hold its shape quite as well, because you can kind of see it's not terrible, but it does hold its shape. It will give you that same kind of adding some stiffness to the metal pieces, so that you can like really, yeah, you can use a soda can too, Timmy. You could totally use a soda can and do this with a soda can and then die cut the soda can. So that's a really good idea. I hadn't even thought about that, probably because Ron and I don't drink soda. But yeah, that's a great idea that you could do with a soda can. So the next thing you can do is, let's say that you want, and I didn't show this in the project, but I'm going to show it to you guys. You can actually take your metal leaves, your metal and felt leaves, and you can emboss them. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see this or not. Maybe just a little bit you guys will be able to see it. But I actually embossed, let me see if it shows up better on some of the other ones. I have glue hands big time. I actually embossed this felt. So you can emboss it, and then you can also do the exact same thing, where you take your little sander after you've embossed it and you sand off all the tops. Okay, so I'm going to do that real quick because we're going to try a little bit of a variation from the flowers I originally made. We're just going to experiment because I've wanted to try this for a while and I haven't had a chance to. Not on my own. I've seen other people do this. Again, Miss Tracy Pounds from Little Blue House. Total inspiration. Because she has a little workshop there called Hot Metal Mamas, and they do all kinds of fun stuff with metal. So my poor little sander is running out of steam. I'm just going to sand all these guys real quick. Hold on, I have another little sander. Whoops. Kind of want to go in one direction when you're doing this. You see, you create all these super cool leaves. Hold on one second. I have another sander. We're going to get this guy out, but he might be a little bit too... Yeah, that works. He's got a little bit more oomph to him, but he seems to work. Now we're going to stick with my original plan. It's working all right. So we're taking that and we're taking it to that by taking off the finish, the painted finish from the metal. And then the green shows through. Okay, one more to go. I needed 8, right? Make sure I have them. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. All right. So now, I use the 450 to hold the metal, to glue the metal to the felt. I use my 450 glue and it holds fabulously. It's awesome. So I'm going to set these to the side. So like I said, if you want, you can just have bendy felt leaves. But I'm going to try doing maybe kind of a variation of bendy felt leaves and then regular leaves. So what you're going to do to create this flower is you're going to do, I've actually got some different sizes of leaves here. I've got, some of them are big and some of them are small. So I'm going to make it kind of alternate. So big, small, big, small, big, small. Okay, that'll be good enough. I know my table's kind of dirty, so it's kind of blending. But what you're going to do is you're just going to take your leaves and you're going to glue them on top of each other and make like a little pattern. And I could even do it so that it alternated between green and metal. What do you guys think? Should I do it so that it alternates with the green felt on the top and the metal on the bottom, or should I do all metal? What do you guys think? Anyone? Or should I just do all green? Alternate. Okay. Done deal. Executive decision, girls. Thank you for your help. So I'm just going to kind of glue these together. I think that's going to be pretty. So that like that. And then we're going to do, and I'm just putting them in like a little fan pattern. So I've got these guys, and you're going to want to set these aside to dry because I'm going to start, whoops, I'm going to start bending them. 1 second. Let's see. Who's a Gemini? I'm a Gemini. Who else is a Gemini? So we're going to do some more alternating and putting glue back here. Like that. And then do more green. Let's see. Like this. I'm really just making up like a little flower as I kind of go along. You just want to hold all your little pieces together and it'll end like that. So that was 8 petals. This is where you need like 3 hands. If anybody knows how to get a spare hand, let me know because I could really use one sometimes. Ron Shops is not always available for craft assistance. So I'm just going to kind of hold that guy down for a second. You can kind of see how he came out. Cancer, Libra, Scorpio, Taurus. Lots of Cancer. Wow, you guys. Let me hold it. I'm still holding. I want it to dry. It's being stubborn. I usually set this aside and let it dry on its own. I might do that. Let me see. Give it just a second because I need to make one more of these little dudes. Let's see. I'm going to try gluing a little disc to the back to help hold everything together. There we go. So I've got a little disc back here and I'm gluing that on there. And again, my hands are sticky, so everything is sticking to it. Okay, so I'm going to set this guy aside. And now I'm going to make another one. And this one is going to be from the smaller leaves. And again, I've got green metal underneath. These ones I did not emboss, but I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to alternate between just regular metal on the top, felt on the bottom, and do the same exact thing. Everybody holding up? And I'm going to get another little disc out so we have a disc to glue that to. So I'm going to make 1/2 and set that down, and then I'm going to make the other half. Let's see. Oh, I forgot I didn't have enough metal, so we are kind of winging it. There we go. So now I basically got these 2 sides, and I'm just going to let them sit for just a second. So while that is sitting and drying, hold on, let me get my hands cleaned up a little bit. I have these little, these are little wooden discs, or they're not, I don't know, they're not discs, they're little rectangles, and they are kind of like a real light wood, and I buy a lot of these. You can get these at Michael's and Joann's and Hobby Lobby. They're just in the unfinished wood section, and you can make like little signs and stuff out of them. Make place cards and all kinds of stuff out of these, but I like to use them as bases for projects because they give me something nice and sturdy to adhere things to. So what you're going to do is, let me see where we are with this drying, because I really need these first because my big fellas, good. I think these are doing good. So I'm going to move these little guys off to the side. I'm going to grab some more of my wood discs, and we are going to create a little collage of these little wood discs. I'm going to do 4 of these in the center, kind of grouped around, and I'm just going to glue them down. Like that. These little dudes. And then I'm going to do one big honker one on the top. And I'm going to do, I guess I'll do this one. I need to have him, he's going to Ron's going to be trimming trees tomorrow, so I'm going to have him cut me a bunch more of these in some bigger sizes. So I just got another big glop of glue, and I'm just going to put that guy down there like that. So now I kind of have this little crazy looking glued wood center, and I'm going to set that aside to dry. It does kind of remind you of a poinsettia, I agree. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing. Now I'm going to try to see if these guys are ready to go, and I'm going to glue these two halves together that I made so that we've got like a little mini flower. I think I'm going to have to wait on this. It's still drying. Just a little bit longer. It's almost set up. So while that's going, I've also got, let me move my little wood guys off to the side. I've also got some of these little skeleton leaves. Have you guys seen these before? These are like little leaves that are just like, they're skeletons of leaves. So you can get these at craft stores too. So I'm going to have 2 of these on either side, like so. I'm just trying to get my arranging and everything ready. And I'm actually, let's see, I think I'm going to put these, I'm trying to look at what I did on the other one so they don't stick out too terribly far. Just use some glue. And just kind of press those in there. You're definitely going to have glue hands after this. So press those down. Kind of stagger them so that they're kind of fanned out a little bit. Can you guys see those okay? Here, let me put them on a black background so you can see them a little bit better. Okay. Glue hands are good hands. I agree, Tracy. It's not a bad thing. And we'll do this one. Whoops. And this guy. Kind of fan those out and smush them in. Really good. And then hey Nancy, we've probably got like maybe 15 more minutes to go. So the other thing that we're going to be using in this project while everything is drying is some moss. And I have a big old bag of this Nido moss, and you can get this in the craft store too. See? This is just like regular old moss, and it's kind of this neat like pale lime green color. So I'm just going to grab a couple pieces of that because I'm going to use that as kind of a background in my project. And probably grab another little piece, and I'm going to cut off some of the bottom just so that we have some real pretty little pieces of moss there. All I needed to add some birds to this. I should have added some birds. Does the record button hate you, Tracy? So the next thing we're going to do is this guy. He is in pretty good shape. So while I'm going to press down the center, and I am going to start folding my petals up so that we've got a little bit more dimension going there. So you can kind of see we've got these this nice heavy-duty metal, and we've got felt attached to the back, so that's kind of what the back looks like. So you guys can see that, and then this is what the front looks like. So it makes like a real pretty little flower. So we're going to start actually doing some of our arranging now. I'm going to pull all my little flowers together, like so. We'll do him down there, and him over here. And, whoops, sorry about that. And let's see, we'll do like, I made that one of those little discs, and we're going to kind of tuck him back there. This is really just the fun part where you're just kind of, let me see where these guys are. I've got another little disc around here somewhere. Hold on one second. I'm going to cut this guy back. They seem to do better when they have a little disc behind them. Okay. Oof. Okay, I just got glue everywhere. 1 second. I'm having the glue volcano problem here. Let me close him up. He should not be left open. Okay, hold on. I can't throw it in my trash can or he'll glue to my trash can. So hold on a second. He's going in there, so he may be in there for eternity. He's stuck to my finger. Don't worry, the glue's okay. A keg of Helmar. I need it with like a little brush. Okay, hold on, I gotta clean my hands. Now I have my little dollop here. Let's see. Okay. And now we're gonna try, oh, I already had a little circle down there. Okay, sorry, I was off camera. Okay, so I got my little glue guy going. I think he's pretty much dry. I just have really bad sticky hands. Hold on a second. That's a really good question, Nikki. Or Nick. Is that your name? Yeah, the scrap dots are awesome. Love those scrap dots. So again, some of these leaves are metal and some of them aren't. So, because I kind of had like a little bit of a half and half thing going. So I'm going to put the ones that are kind of facing out to the side. And then the ones that aren't in the center. Oh, and I need another little wood doodad. Hold on, let me... Got my little tray of wood doodads right here. Here we go. So have any of you girls heard about, I guess, Tracy, the Helmar design team is going to be announced next week? Is that right? The new design team and educators and everybody? I think that's coming up soon. We've got our little burlap guy. So, let's see. We got to do a little flower arranging. My little burlap flower is a little bit on the fat side, but that's okay. I know, I can't wait to see all the new design team girls. I had a really fun time being on the design team. It was awesome. One second. Let's see. He is chunky. I mean, look how he's like fat. This guy is like totally unbelievably fat. Okay, so I am going to put a generous amount. We might actually, let's see how this does. He's so fat and chunky, he's probably going to take quite a while to really get down there. So let me move this guy out of the way. So I'm just going to press him down and glue him down. And then I'm going to start gluing all my other little guys down too. Put that on its side. So just kind of arrange everybody the way that you want them. And I'll put this guy like that. The base definitely helps to give the glue something to adhere to. And I can tell that the top is still kind of in the process of drying, but that's okay. So we're just going to kind of hold everything down there. Yep, Tracy's right. We're all Helmar designers, and she loves all of us no matter what. She's the sweetheart. Could not ask for a nicer design team coordinator. So just keep on trucking. Does anybody do live videos? Has anybody tried their hand at live videos yet, or does anybody want to get into that? It's really fun. You hate your voice. Oh, Melissa. Tasha, yes. Carrie, you're scared. Christina, I saw yours. It was rockin' cool. Nancy, you need to. Everybody needs to try this. This is, I just have a regular webcam, you guys. This isn't anything like super fancy. It's just a Logitech webcam. And I think you can probably get them for about, I think now they're about $50, so it's not terrible. I'm sticking to everything. I'm probably going to go to bed and like stick to Ron, which might not be a bad thing. Okay, so just still doing some arranging, just playing around, putting all my flowers where I want them. Yeah, I was having that problem with my tripod too, Melissa. I used to keep my dogs in here with me, but they would get like to scratching and wagging their tails and stuff, and it would get totally out of hand. It was hysterical. Okay, a couple more to go. I'm just gluing everybody down. That's right, everybody can design and share. Don't feel like don't let anything hold you back. So I'm kind of putting him off to the side. And I've got this little guy, just making sure everything's holding down good. Kind of wiggling away on me. I'm going to tuck him underneath. So just do a nice big... Yeah, you guys should definitely, if you do work, you should post it on the Helmar Facebook. It's awesome. There's some beautiful work out there. Okay, so now, hopefully I haven't glued it down to itself. I have this little wooden thing that's got all these awesome flowers and stuff on it. And the next thing that you're gonna do, and you can kind of, it's still a little bit tacky, like a little bit movie, so you can kind of squish stuff around the way that you want it until it's permanently sets, and it's getting pretty darn close. So the next thing you're gonna do, let me rub my hands together like magic and get all that stuff off. Okay, I do too. I like big chunky stuff. My husband always knows when I've been working in my craft room because he walks in and he's like, I can smell the Helmar. It smells awesome. To me, it smells really, really clean. I really like the smell of it. So what you're going to do with your moss, and this little moss, I just love this stuff. This is just in the floral section of your craft store. Let me make sure before I start moving them around, because I have to glue stuff onto the back now, so I want to make sure that all this stuff is set in there pretty good. Let me give it a second and see if you guys have any questions. You're not the only one who sniffs your scrappy stuff. Anybody have any questions for me? Because all we have to do now is we're just going to glue on the moss. And normally what I do is I just kind of put the glue down, and then I just kind of press it. And I press my little moss pieces in there, and I'll do a couple up here, and if it's too fat of a piece, hold on, let me put it down and show you what I do. Like, you can cut them so that, like this guy, he's a little bit fat. You can actually kind of cut it in half and then kind of spread it so that it gets a little bit more spread out so that it's not quite so fat. Okay, so this moss is awesome, and it smells really, really, really good. I mean, I want my whole house to smell like this stuff. I love this moss. Okay, so we're still a little bit movie, just a little. And I'm going to put this on a darker background so you can kind of see it a little bit better. Can you guys see it a little bit better now? It's got all the pretty leaves and stuff on it. And we just made that. Lickety split. Easy as pie. The stiffener is Helmar's fabric stiffener. This stuff is awesome, Nancy. Totally, insanely awesome. I absolutely adore it. And I get it at the Little Blue House. I'm really, really lucky that Tracy Pounds, it was only $4.79, you guys. I'm really lucky that Tracy Pounds carries at Little Blue House. She carries all the Helmar products, so I'm not bragging or anything, but you can buy it online too. And I know Tracy Helmar can hook you up and tell you where to get it online, because there's lots. I think Christina, doesn't iScrap carry Helmar products? I don't know if she's still here. I think she had to go. So anyway, so now you see how I want my little moss to kind of poke out and add some like more little earthy, friendly little elements to my project. So what I'll do is I'm going to glue these down, and we're going to go ahead and do that right now. And I'm going to cut off some of this excess. I'm just going to take a nice big dollop of glue and put it down there. And then I'm going to put some on the other side too, kind of up at the top, like that. I don't know if you guys can see what I'm doing, but then I'm just going to kind of press it in there, like so. Just get it so that it peeks out just a little bit from around the edges. And let me cut this back some, like that. So now you got this like big puffy back. Then when you flip it over, you can see that you've got the little moss just kind of sticks out just a little bit. And if he's not sticking out enough, you can kind of shimmy him down some. So I just want it to peek out, just so you see like a little bit more green to frame. I sound like Bob Ross. Just a little bit, little trees, little fun stuff. Heaven help me. Okay, so the next thing, now that you've like kind of got it shimmied and kind of figured out where exactly you want it, is you can either do what I did and you can create a strap for it and strap it on there once it's dried so that you can interchange it. So I've got my little elastic strap on here that I just glued on. Or you can actually permanently glue him to this. I'm not going to permanently glue him to this because I'm probably going to go buy another one of these little swags and I'm going to give it to my mom because she gets all of these silly little projects for me. Hold on, I got moss pieces everywhere. So let me put a little white background down so you guys can hopefully, hold on, I got glue all over it. One second. Let me separate my tower. Oh yeah, my mom loves getting projects. And she always knows she's going to end up with them too. She's still recovering. She can't sit really in a chair for too long. So she can't really watch my shows and stuff right now, but she's usually on. So here we go. Ta-da! On a white background, a little towel. This is our finished product, or project. And here's the other one that I made earlier that's a little bit different with some more solid leaves. So that's it. Super easy, super fun. You get to make all the flowers yourselves and just buy these little cheapo swags. I mean, they're really only a couple of dollars, and just do some fun stuff with them. Does anybody have any more questions for me? Thanks, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I really appreciate it. And thanks, Tasha. Thanks, Mrs. Fence. Thanks, Tracy. And I would just like to say from the bottom of my heart that the past 6 months I've really enjoyed being a Helmar educator. I've met some really fabulous people. I do a lot of my education work at the Little Blue House. I do a lot of teaching, and we use the Helmar products at the Little Blue House. But I really love Helmar, and Tracy and Mark are so supportive. I've just been an honor to be on the team, and I'm going to be sad to see everybody, but I've got so much going on, I can't keep up with everything. So you know, it's just a good thing for me to move on. So thank you so much, Tracy, for having me, and thanks for everybody for tuning in tonight. And any other questions before we go? Oh, Tasha, that's where you first used Helmar. Thanks, Cassie. Love you too, Sandy. And Amy. Thanks, Amy. Here we go. Ta-da! So one last look at the project. This is detached, obviously. Hey, Tracy. Okay, Tracy, I'll call you. Oh, you guys are so sweet. That's Tracy Pounds from Little Blue House. Crazy Miss Tracy. So there's the project, everybody, and here's the project attached to the swag. In case you can't see, it's not really, it's kind of loosely attached. Doesn't really help to have my big old fat fingers in there, but that's okay. There we go. Thanks, everybody. You guys have a great night, and I'll see you again soon.